Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for July 19th, 2025. It is Saturday, which means we get a full random kingdom. And we've got Swindler because Daily does not respect ban lists. We've got Goat, Exorcist for trashing. We've got only King's Court for, well, I guess there's also, there's Expedition. Okay, King's Court can turn, Groundskeeper, Pixie, or Bandit Camp into draw. Although Bandit Camp, you'd gain the spoils, so it's kind of not really draw, but anyway. And there's Expedition, and there's also Spirits. Wisp and Imp can both draw cards. Plus actions, King's Court, Bandit Camp. Plus by Merchant Guild, Groundskeeper is nearby. So we're definitely going to want to play with King's Court, Groundskeeper, and Merchant Guild as like kind of the primary end state, goal end state of the deck, where you play a bunch of Merchant Guilds, you buy stuff, you get a bunch of coffers, and then also you play a bunch of Groundskeepers and you buy like an estate, and you get a bunch of coffers from the Merchant Guild, and you get a bunch of points from the Groundskeeper, sort of thing. Yeah. But there's some other stuff to consider as well, like do we want to play with Exorcist and try to get some Imps and Wisps? Do we want to... I mean, there's also like King's Court Swindler. Oh, God. That's disgusting. There's also King's Court Monument. That should... that's a more... It's a kind of like a simplified version of King's Court Groundskeeper in a way. The amount of VP that generates is the same, of course. Like King's Courting a Groundskeeper, putting aside whatever other Groundskeepers you're getting. Like you get a victory card, you get 3 points. King's Court a Monument, you just get the 3 points. Monument gives you coins. The Groundskeeper gives you cards and actions. So King's Court Monument is generally like pretty solid. The deck control here is going to be like a little bit tricky, so I think there is an argument for playing with Clerk to try to push that further. Pixie is a card that is generally just good to have and will also drive piles, as will Swindler, so this game could end pretty quickly as a consequence of that stuff. There's also, Goat accelerating as well. Mostly I just really wish Swindler wasn't on this board. But as it is, I'm actually wondering about opening it. Like we want to hit King's Court pretty quickly. I'm wondering about just opening like Swindler or Clerk. If they collide, we can still play them both. Potentially hit 7 like that fast. I'm worried that like Exorcist is too slow, especially with like Goat is gonna like trash in a state in our opening shuffle anyway. And I think the opportunity to gain Imps off of Exorcist is going to be pretty limited. Opening with Expedition would be potentially a thing to do on a 4-3. 3-4 triggers a shuffle, but not one that has anything like in it. I don't really think that's particularly useful. So I guess I'm going to play with Swindler. They do just open Expedition. Interesting. Oh, but they had the Goat in the starting hand. That does make that look better, I think. Huh. Well, here we go. think we will indeed go ahead and take a King's Court. I will not exchange that for a Changeling, thank you. And we could take an Expedition here, or we could take a Pixie. 3, 4, 5. So we have 11 cards in our deck. We buy Expedition, we see 7 of them. Pretty good chance that we get to King's Court the Swindler. The value of that, though, right now is mostly in attacking. Like, it's not necessarily doing that much for building up our deck. We do need to get Merchant Guild. And we also need to get Groundskeeper or Bandit Camp. I think Pixie is better. Okay, well, we can get a Merchant Guild here, and the next turn we can King's Court the Pixie, hopefully. Nope. Wow, they're really going hard for the Pixies. Do we? There's no reason to play the Clerk. Yeah, I think we take that. It's like we get to buy Expedition without having to actually buy Expedition. I would like another King's Court, but right now we don't even have a Pixie in our deck. We might need to take a Groundskeeper, and then we can also buy another Pixie. Swamp's Gift, that's a good one. There are things that we could get that would be better, but oh, no, there aren't. Never mind. All right. Oh, we bottom deck the Merchant Guild. That's not great. Well, I'm gonna take another King's Court. What we want to do here may depend on how many Pixies they take, if any. All right, yeah. So we only hit 5 if we play the Merchant Guild. Next turn we've got King's Court Groundskeeper. I think we just King's Court the Swindler so we can get another King's Court. Pixie to Estate, Bandit Camp to Duchy. Go ahead and play this because it's not what we're going to King's Court anyway. All right, now do we King's Court the Merchant Guild? So if we do that, we take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coins. If we King's Court the Swindler, we get an additional 2 coins. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coins. Yeah, I think that's more important considering I don't think we're going to buy that many things anyway. Wisped Curse is a... yeah. There you go, have some more duchies. Alright. think this is just another groundskeeper and another merchant guild. Ugh. Yeah, that was definitely a risk with this draw. The curses are gonna like run kind of quickly here. Essentially, all this King's Court swindling. The duchy. Camp to duchy, and then the duchies are getting low. Just to curse. I think this should just be another King's Court. Oh man. We've got, I think these are both King's Courts. We just see one of those in this hand. Well, maybe it doesn't actually matter that much, but... You do have to be careful about piles, but I don't think the bot's deck is capable of very much right now. Okay. Jeez, we just cannot line this stuff up. I mean, to be fair, the draw is very weak. Maybe we should be buying Expedition for that reason. Although, of course, that doesn't give us the Merchant Guild coffers, but... we can get any of our attacks off. We have 2 King's Courts, Swindler, Clerk down there, so like we really want to draw more cards. I think we gotta buy Expedition. Expedition Groundskeeper, I think. Alright, here we go. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. We might have enough King's Court plays now that we should have just taken... Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I just autopiloted that. Yeah, definitely should not have done that. Okay, at some point it's correct for us not to give them back the duchy. But... I don't think we're at that point. Go to a state. All right. Okay, so we have a lot of Merchant Guild plays, a lot of Groundskeeper plays. Do we have a win on Duchy Curse? I guess we probably do, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Groundskeeper plays? Yeah. $42 coffers. Yeah, I am actually really surprised that the bot did not play with Swindler. I felt like the other times when it seems like the bot is very fond of Swindler. And I do think it put in work here. Like, it kind of blew their deck up. Swindler is awful. This board would definitely be more fun without it, so, you know. Sometimes you gotta play with it. So, Yeah, I mean, this is interesting, like going expedition where you get to trash an estate. And so your odds of hitting 5 are possibly guaranteed. The rest of your deck has the 2 estates, but no other estates. So then you draw 2 cards off the top, and you know, like that's going to be 2 coins. Yeah, it's guaranteed that you hit 5 there. And of course, if you draw the goat, that's even better because you get to immediately trash another estate. That's all really quite nice, except for the fact that the Merchant Guild isn't that valuable early. And I mean, it does give you the pixies, which is nice, but like, I don't know, just like the whole swindler thing. Like, I think, yeah. And the other thing is that if you are going to do that, like pick up a Merchant Guild and then buy a bunch of pixies, presumably what you want to be doing is using those coffers to buy King's Court. But the bot didn't buy King's Court until turn 9? No? Turn 10? Yeah, this is when it finally got a King's Court. That's really late on this board. So, yeah, I think the combination of those things is like not playing with the attacks. Like the clerk, I don't know, maybe the clerk wasn't that valuable. Like the clerk, it gave them some ability to control what got swindled, you know, before I started lining that up with King's Court. Copper into Curse isn't necessarily too bad here either because of, like, you have Goat in your deck. Though it is still taking money out of your current hand if you're like top decking it and then getting it swindled. So like, you know, the combination of those two is definitely worse than if I was just swindling Copper off the top of their deck. But you know, eventually I was hitting their 5s and trashing their pixies into estates and things of that nature. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, swindler stuff aside, yeah, I think King's Court obviously, you know, is an amazing card, and in particular, like it is not necessarily usually the case that you want to get it like absolutely as fast as possible, but I think on this board you really do, because there's just nothing else that's going to give you any semblance of deck control, and also because like the primary payload cards all really want to be King's Courted. Merchant Guild, Swindler, and Monument. Like you want to King's Court all of those things. So, and you have Goat trashing, which means that your odds of collision are higher than they would be, you know, if you didn't have that. Even if you had like a trasher, like the Goat is just going to be like get you started trashing a little bit faster, and so your odds of collision are pretty good. So yeah, I think turn 10 is really late to be adding your first King's Court. I mean, obviously turn 3 is earlier than expected. I think that was what I had, yeah, because I did collide the Clerk and the Swindler, which probably justifies the Clerk's existence by itself, even if you put everything else aside there. I mean, I guess I could have opened Swindler Expedition and had a pretty good chance at it as well. But it would be a little bit lower because Clerk just gives you 2 coins straight up. Expedition can draw an estate and then not give you 2 coins. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.